Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. The snow is here. Welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula Rand.
Jay, and I had to get that little piece of eyebrow out of my face. And here we go. Here we go. Last minute for us. Got a whole bunch of things on the go. Big episode for you today with Donald Best. Going to be announcing the Grooves Project movie. The trailer's now out. You can see my posts. They're out now. And please check it out because holy smokes, they put some good effort into this. It's going to be something that you can see awards for. It's a full-on production. And we'll be sharing the actual full trailer with you on the show today.
Excellent day. Can't wait. And yes, this is an exciting time because getting it out into the media, in the celebrity media, in the popular culture media, I think is definitely something that'll be very, very difficult for the powers that be to suppress. So I'm looking forward to seeing this this movement. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, we've seen a few times when movies come out, suddenly governments act and react.
Yes.
We've seen this before with this Died Suddenly and some others. So I'm really impressed with what they've done. I've seen the trailer. We'll be sharing with you guys soon. And I want to make sure that this is getting out there because the detective Helen groups matter. It's very important. There's a whole bunch of layers to this, much like the ostriches. It's not just about on the surface level of a cop potentially losing their job.
Yeah.
It's about whether or not officers have discretion to look into things. If they suspect something, do they need permission from powers that be if it's politically charged? And when a good cop does something correct, can she lose her career? And hundreds of thousands of dollars go through the largest tribunal, longest, most expensive tribunal in Canadian history for a police officer and their employment. And whether or not she can, or any officer can be shut down in the course of their work. For example, they passed a rule inside the Ottawa Police Services that you can't even mention vaccines or COVID. Gotta keep it quiet. And by the way, this is what used to have us deleted on YouTube 2 years ago. So I'm glad those policies are reversed because we wouldn't even be able to bring this to you.
Exactly. We would have been so restricted. Like we would had to be so careful to try and get information out to you guys, but we couldn't say certain words just because it was so quick and fierce and harsh to no, you're getting shut down. Ridiculous.
Yep. Okay, so let's get into our quick update on the homestead. So more work to get done. No heaters went in. And I actually found myself very tired yesterday. I needed to catch up on a little bit of rest. And I did that. So Martin, I caught up on some rest. I'm ready to go and get some more stuff done. And then you?
What did I do? Good question. Yes. Oh, taco time. Oh, yeah. We go into social studies with the kids because we did have an activity to do early afternoon. And then we were just doing some social studies and talk about the history of Canada. And then the First Peoples, the British and the French influence. And just got into that. Then, had lunch, spent time with the kids. And then it took the big man off to Taco Thursdays.
And then I spent a lot of time with Dr. David Speaker, who should be on Monday, talking about things. And we may have to make a decision. It's going to be today on the content for our event on December 13th, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of interest.
Unfortunately,
It seems like there's a lot of, and this is David agreeing with me on this one too, because we spent an hour and a half talking about this. There seems to be COVID fatigue, and people are kind of fatigued on the whole subject. The way I put it to him was everybody who wants to know knows.
Yeah.
And those that don't know don't care.
Yeah.
And it's tough to find people that are interested in learning more at this stage.
Yeah.
And now that's a good thing. That means a lot of people like the NCI have been doing a great job getting this conversation out there. The Injections of Truth here in Alberta, Dr. Shoemaker and Hodgkinson and Gary Davidson and many other doctors have done a good job getting the information out there. So it does seem like people are, if they want to know, they know. If they don't want to know, they're not going to.
And also that there's information out there, there's reports, there's documentaries or panels that they can research to get this information. Because NCI as well has spoken at length about this too.
So what we're also doing, because the event's happening, so December 13th will be happening. Some of the content may be changing. But what we're considering doing now, and let us know in the chat if this is of interest of you, especially if you're in Alberta, if you would go to Red Deer to be part of this, is to have a Citizens Constitutional Convention, which is meant to sit down and start talking about what we want the Constitution to look like in Alberta when we make the move to separate, because that's one of the next steps we'll have to do once that vote is done. is what is the Constitution going to look like? We're not official in power in any way, shape, or form. Can we force this? But we do want to have the conversation with the public as various versions are being, passed around and drafted and created, especially from the Alberta Prosperity Project. There's one being drafted as we speak right now. There's also the Bruce Party one, which reverses the default. So I think 4 hours with a bunch of Alberta lawyers there. I've got a list of about 6 or 7 that would make for great conversation on this subject. Now, John Carpay, Bathsheba Vandenberg, Leighton Gray, Bruce Party himself, and a couple others for sure, to have. And it's not for us to decide; it's for us to have the conversation on what we would expect or what we would want to see going forward. So, if you're interested in that, drop it into the chat, and maybe we'll be doing an announcement around that soon.
Yeah, because we really want to provide an event where people are going to actually find value and be willing to leave their house to go to and attend. And as much as we know that a lot of still have issues with COVID, and yes, exactly, something that we should never be forgotten. Unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say fortunately, unfortunately, it's 5 years in, and thankfully, the information's out there. So we want to try and find an event and subject matter that is really of interest, that people want to get out and really interact with, because that's one of the key things when you're going to an event. We don't want you to just sit there and be quiet. It's really a case of we want you to turn out, have a say, learn, interact, and have a good time.
Well, a good time, sure, but it certainly provides some value both ways, because we'd love to hear from the public on what they expect the Constitution to look like, and where they have their concerns, where they're not so concerned. What kind is it? The party version, which is a reverse. The government has no power except, or is it a traditional one, just modified? So the government has all power except. So I think it'd be a great conversation. I'm curious too on what direction this is going to go, and I certainly personally would have my own input on what I would like to see the protections be like in the future on a new constitution.
Yeah, and go on. I was going to say, and then potentially having the legal panel there gives people the opportunity, we do like a Q&A, and they're asking questions. You get the legal perspective, like that's just not feasible, or yes, that can happen if so and so. So to have you be able to ask some questions, because everyone would love a wish list of what we want Alberta to look like. And so having the legal perspective and feedback, I think, would be a great benefit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there'll be that's not feasible portion, because that's not really for anybody to decide. But the main thing is it's not going to be you just come and get information presented to you. It's a full-on Q&A. So a couple microphones, a bunch of lines, and lawyers with various experience on different subjects, like John Carpay with the Constitution, or the Constitution. You got Leighton Gray for Indigenous issues, Sean Buckley for medical issues. This is where we're headed with this, and I think it would be very beneficial to have a bunch of Alberta lawyers there and to talk about what Bruce has proposed, and also what the APP will have proposed by then, because this will be December 13th. So by then, the APP should have their drafts out as well. So we can, as a citizenry, sit down and talk about that.
Yeah, and then it's also December 13th. It'll be after November 16th, 17th. Deadline's coming up for us.
Just hinting away here, yes. So we'll get into that as well. Danielle Smith's deadline is in 2 days for Mark Carney. He may have already let the cat out of the bag. He's already provided his list, which will not satisfy Danielle. And she has come out with a comment basically saying, hey, I'm still working with you. So she's got 2 days. Now I think the deadline is on her. So Mark Carney has played his cards. No pipeline for Alberta. And now Danielle's got 2 days to let us know where she stands on this and whether or not she's going to do her or else. So the way we're positioned now as Albertans is Danielle Smith made the deadline. And is she going to try and shift it? Is she going to try to take the next step? Because she was clear, and I'll be releasing it today, 30 minutes of her telling us how she's going to position it as the or else. And she's got 2 days. So really at this stage, we're not waiting for Carney anymore.
No.
He's already released the list. It's not inclusive of Alberta's requirement for a pipeline. So now it's up to Danielle. So she's got 48 hours to be a leader. And
come up with her script for her press conference. I'm waiting.
I know you're waiting. A lot of people are waiting, and this is kind of why my energy is a little bit low right now, because I'm disappointed already at this stage. I'm disappointed already, but this doesn't really stop the movement of finding out if Alberta wants independence. It adds to it. I'm just a little sad that, in my mind, at this stage, we will have a different leader at some point soon.
Yep. Potentially.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited about that. I'm not, because, and here's why. I really had lots of hope, lots and lots and lots of hope that Danielle would do what she promised during her campaigning to be leader. And she's dropped quite a few of those balls, like quite a few of them. Did not provide the Bill of Rights to protect us from vaccinations in the future. That didn't happen. Didn't really push the COVID response report from Davidson. That didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about opening trans surgery in Alberta. Not pleased about that. We need to fight against that. And some things that I am proud or pleased about is how she fought against the desire to shut down the conversation around protecting your home, so Castle Doctrine. That was cool. I was happy with that. The way she handled the teachers' strike, I am pleased about that. Many are not, but I am. But the independence issue is the number one issue. It wasn't brought up during the panel, not by the panel, at least. The audience certainly did. Every single stop, half of the people were like, we don't need a panel. We just need independence. I know that the UCP party itself wants to talk about this, and they shut that conversation down for the AGM. And
exactly, for all the times, the AGM's literally coming up.
Yep. So
literally coming up right now. Why not?
So I'm sad because if she drops this ball, tries to extend the deadline again, she's going to lose the last bit of support that she had within UCP side of things. That's for sure, me included, because she told me to my face, November 16th. That's the big deadline, or else. And if she doesn't do it, that's going to, kind of cash in the last of her political clout that she had, and then goes into the AGM shutting down the conversation. Those will not be received well, because I know the numbers inside the UCP party has grown since the 63%. I can't share it because it's a private poll, but you'd be happy with the grade if it was a paper that you had. If you were a B+ type of person or an A- type of person, you'd be quite happy with those numbers. So I'm sad because I would anticipate a Jason Kenney situation here, where the party said, you're not listening.
Yep.
So, and that's how Danielle got in power, was Jason Kenney got removed by the party. And facing these recall things, she's on the list. There's definitely a big push to go ahead and remove her. I think she's at a crossroads, and either she does what her party expects her to do, because that's who voted for her.
Stand up for Alberta.
Her base. Or the party will stand up in some way. And I don't have inside information that says if, then, else. I'm just trying to read the tea leaves as I see them, and the same situation of Kenny is happening here. When Kenny wasn't working with the base to stop vaccine passports and all that kind of stuff, as soon as he flip-flopped on that issue, they got rid of him. So we'll see where this goes. I think the AGM is going to be very interesting, but she needs to come out and follow through with what she said. So what's the or else on this one?
Yeah, exactly. I've been waiting for that from the first press conference, where she listed her 9 items, but she didn't say or else. She says, we want to have this, because we would love to have heard or we are going to do this, or we will stand up and do that. There wasn't any of that. So we'll see. Like I says, I look forward to Monday. Because Carney has responded. He's made it clear. No Alberta projects or pipelines. And he said this is the latest. So why not if he was going to? So no. He's responded. So we'll wait for Monday.
Yep. So the deadline is now ticking for Danielle on this one. So folks, let's jump into the news, because we spent a lot of time on that issue, because we should. It's very important. And let's get ourselves ready for Donald, because this will be an exciting half of the show as we release the trailer for the movie. Right. So great time with Brittany yesterday. She's a rising star when it comes to commentating in the conservative Christian space. Very nice young lady who is working hard, has a bit of a calling to it. So if you haven't checked it out, do check it out. And if you're on the local side of things, you probably enjoyed the conversation after. But we like to support anybody who's getting out there to have conversations. The more of us out there, the less likely they'll be able to take us all down. So let's see some support for Brittany Crow there. That's great. Okay, so Daisy, they're leaving. The rats are scurrying away here. They're leaving the ostrich farm, the RCMP and the CFIA. And part of the problem here is, well, first I just highlighted here that there was still no impeding of their work from start to finish. So from the time they arrived to the time they left, nobody impeded them in a way that laid charges. The only charges that we have was feeding the birds, which was the CFIA considered a violation of their powers. And Jim Kerr was charged with that. And there's a group who's associated with another group who is in the news that's just adamant that they're going to try and change the narrative of this to kind of align with the CFIA, the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, and others. I don't know what they're up to, but it's a free world. They can do whatever they want. But at the end of the day, my post stands. Nobody interfered and impeded their work. Dacey's still not arrested. So when they threatened him the other day, that was criminal intimidation. When the RCMP are the ones who break the law, who investigates them? In Canada, they will not be accountable ever. So this sucks because, we watched on video the RCMP threaten Dacey, and he didn't do anything wrong.
Correct.
And that's criminal intimidation when you do that kind of thing. And of course, they're not going to be held accountable in any way, shape, or form. So this spurred on some conversations, and I'm kind of disappointed because there is no way in Canada, and the new Alberta will have it because there will be citizen inquiries and lots of checks and balances in place to ensure that even the cops don't go rogue, and there'll be no RCMP. Maybe that'll be my next post.
Yeah, I just want to highlight something as well. So the whole point of the new Alberta is that we're not going to copy the same current template that's in Canada. And so there was a comment here on YouTube. I'm all ears if anyone can come up with a better constitution of the US Constitution.
Okay, so roll the dice. Yeah, check out our episode with Bruce Party, because what he did there was even the U.S. Constitution starts off with the government has all powers except, and then they have a Bill of Rights, which gives exceptions to the all-powerful government. Bruce Party is his position on that one is no powers for the government except, which means you won't need a Bill of Rights. You already have all of them. It's very difficult for people to kind of wrap their head around because it's a very new type of way of doing a constitution. It's never been done before. Considered pretty radical because all other constitutions start off with the government has all powers except. In Canada, we have a charter. In the US, they have a Bill of Rights. And all over the world, they have something similar where they have carving out a protection for the citizens instead of doing it the other way. You carve out the powers of the government. Citizens have all the power. You're born with them. God-given. But anyways, take a look at our episode with Bruce Party. There's an episode where we put both interviews together and went through his entire constitutional draft. I think you'll enjoy that one. So if you can find that video and put it in the link, that'd be great. As Paula's doing that, Quebec poll shows the Separatist Party Québécois are in the lead. We knew this already, but I'm glad to see it's growing even more. They just won the 3 last by-elections, which was quite the signal that Quebec is ready to support a party whose mandate is to separate. Parti Québécois, and I'll read my post here. This is quite the turnaround in Quebec. The promise from Parti Québécois is a referendum on separation if elected. Alberta will vote in 2026, and Quebec could vote in 2027. Looks to me like Canada, as we know it, is coming to an end. So, yeah. But in Quebec, it really came quick. That's the kind of things that will happen in Quebec. But this party won the last 3 by-elections, surprisingly. People were kind of shocked about that. But they're now in the lead in the polls, and that's going to grow. I expect to see all these other parties drop as the Parti Québécois grows, because that is the only way to have true sovereignty for your people, is you're going to have to get out from the thumb of Ottawa. Yep. We understand Quebec. Viva la Quebec. Chris Sims here. This is the other fun when we see these kind of posts. She's a reporter. She works for the Canadian Tax Association here in Alberta, and she asked the federal government agency for copies of art grants applications that mention the word cowboy. And here's what they gave her. It's all blacked out except the word cowboy. And why are they hiding anything? Like, what in the world could be hidden under art grants? But we've seen these before. We've seen entire pages blacked out. We've even seen entire responses fully blacked out. So multiple pages. This is what they do. So you think you have the freedom of information and that kind of stuff? No, but they also decide what they will show you. So sometimes we get good information, and most times you get stuff like this. So my response here was, yeah, that's about right. Nothing to see here. In the new Alberta, this wouldn't be a thing. This wouldn't be a thing. I guarantee you there's no national security sensitive information in the art grants applications or anything, regardless of the word cowboy. What art grants have some sort of national security implication? No,
exactly.
Yeah, that needs to be answered. So best to her on that. Now, you'll see Kim on the show. She is going to likely do one of the Alberta Self-Determination Series interviews. And she may be on. No, she is on. I think the 17th. So next week, we're doing a special around the budget vote. And she'll be joining us for that as well. Jason Kenney, he needs to just retire and go to Ukraine at this stage. He's now talking about how New Brunswick continues to ban natural gas fracking. Sure. But he's trying to make himself relevant again. And but of course, he's against any independence for Alberta. He's against Alberta having its own sovereignty. He's against all of that. And he keeps showing it with his Canadian flag and his Ukrainian flag in his name here. Didn't he get the memo? Because Ukraine has just admitted to a lot of corruption and embezzlement and misappropriation of funds. So Ukraine's being Ukraine. This isn't new for them. It's just now the mainstream media is starting to report on some of that. So my response to him, and I'm getting cheeky because I'm getting tired of this guy who's popping up like a little weasel. And we just got to bop his head and put him back down. But shut up, Jason. You still have the flags of two highly corrupt countries in your name. When exactly did you stop being conservative? Better question is, were you ever one? I think he's a Chino, conservative in name only. Yeah. He's always been. He's a federalist. He doesn't care about Alberta. He cares about what he can squeeze out of Canada for himself. And he's still virtue signaling to Ukraine, even though we all know now they are corrupt. And part of the reason why Canada is in the position it's in is because we sent billions and billions and billions to Ukraine, and we're going to continue to do stuff like that. And he supports that. Basically, when you do this Canada-Ukraine combination here, you're pro-Carney. You're pro-Carney when you do those kind of signaling, because that's exactly what Carney's doing. He's putting us into a European war. He's tying us into Europe, and he's taking Canada down with it. So if you support Carney, you never were conservative.
Yeah, well, this is what's coming ahead.
Yep. So the CFIA now has left, and what they did was all the blood that they spilled all over the land is there. They left all the hay. They kind of tore everything up, left a big pile, as you can see here. And, what was that narrative about the biosecurity and the contamination?
The danger.
And the cross-contamination to humans. This is the whole thing. Like, we don't want to get H5N1 in humans. But yet they did this.
Yeah.
They didn't even burn it or do anything. They quite literally shot the birds, picked them up. And by the way, don't know if they disposed of them yet. The information we have right now is they're still just kind of sitting and rotting in an open air facility. So look, they've done nothing but kill them. So highlighting that, because that doesn't seem to me like they take biosecurity seriously at all.
This is very curious. We live in a lifetime where everything's documented. We have video, we have photos.
They don't care.
We have this now, and it's like, it's going to be asking for forgiveness.
This is just more proof that there is no accountability.
Yeah.
Full stop. Like, they don't even care. Like, they're not even trying to clean it up and wash their hands. And this is like going to, and I'm not trying to pick on Subway. It's like going to a Subway and seeing a sink out of order and they're still serving you food. It's like, well, you got to clean your hands at least. These people don't even care about cleaning their hands. No. They're just whatever. And remember, that was their whole thing. And they're shifting the narrative too now. They're saying that the farm is responsible for this because they didn't honor any biosecurity contamination protocols. What is this?
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Well, forget that part. What is this?
Yeah, no, exactly.
They never did care about that. They just
No.
wanted these birds dead. So the CFA lied, and then I spelled wrong. And then they lied some more. And on their way out, they showed us all how much they lied. See, I'm not AI. I didn't get that perfect. But yeah, that's all they're doing. Lie, 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 lie. And we see our fabulous guest in the back there. We got a few more minutes here, my friend, and we'll see you in a bit. So David Eby, this guy got to shut up. like I am so frustrated with this guy, the premier of BC. He's talking about how when presented with great challenges, British Columbia meets the moment. This is one of those moments. Great to see Ottawa recognizing that. So Ottawa and Carney totally teamed up with Team BC, and Team BC's anti-Alberta. No pipeline coming through there. And this is just one more of those nails in the coffin for anybody's hope that Alberta is going to be able to work with BC. And this guy's just chattering away here. BC is ready to drive Canada's economy forward. Let's get it done. You may need to too, because Alberta might be gone. You may have to. Sorry, we're going to put you in that position. Sorry, not sorry. My comment to him is, hey, David, when First Nations take your house, do not come to Alberta.
Don't come.
Don't come. He's also on that path. First Nations are making title claims to all of Alberta, or all of BC.
Yeah.
So when he no longer has property rights, what is he going to do? Well, I don't care. Do not come to Alberta.
To be clear, we don't care.
Come to Alberta. We don't need you.
Come.
Yeah. So Mark Carney provided that list. It's not just what we build, it's how we build. Actually, no, Mark, it's very much what you build. And Alberta's not on there. So I posted this. Notice that Mark said nothing about energy or pipelines in his major projects. He meant, oh, by the way, there's a pipeline in BC for natural gas, but that's it. So if you're like, hey, technically he said pipeline. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Alberta. Notice that Mark said nothing about energy or pipeline in his major projects. He mentioned sustainability, union workers, and virtue signal to First Nations. Daniel Smith said November 16th, Albertans will be fed up, and Mark Carney can expect the or else. So who's on team or else?
Yep.
I am. I'm absolutely on team or else. I've been on team or else the whole time. This is kind of the last chance for DS, Daniel Smith. And let's see where she goes with it. She got 2 days now. She's going to get a touchdown, or is she going to fumble this one? If she fumbles, we probably, and this is a speculation, we probably will have a snap election in the first or second quarter of 2026, because it's going to line up with the referendum question as well. That can happen at the election. It would shut down all of these recall attempts, and we would have an election. And she wouldn't do well right now. A new leader would, though. So I'm just speculating completely on that one. But if she fumbles this, that's what I think the future might be. All right, so we're getting there closer to Donald. The mayor of Calgary is considered to be a good mayor. He's a brand new one, but he's still flying the Palestinian flag, Palestinian flag, and people are frustrated with that. He did release a motion he's going to be passing next week, which says we're not going to do this anymore. No more national recognition flags or anything like that. But he said, we're still going to do the Palestinian flag because Canada recognizes them as a nation, and we already had this in the pipeline, and we're going to do it on the 15th, so tomorrow. So I'm helping him a little bit here, because if you read his letter, he's like, well, technically we kind of have to because Canada recognized that as a nation. And now I'm letting him know to kind of help him. Well, technically, Mayor, Canada's recognition of Palestine is conditional and includes the requirement for an election to be held in 2026. It may be premature to declare Palestine as a fully recognized nation before those conditions have been met. Accordingly, the flag policy may not apply. So he could use this truth, because in 2026, they're supposed to have a general election. They're all supposed to demilitarize the Palestinian state. And there's supposed to be fundamental governance reform of the Palestinian Authority. And this is all future. These are conditions that Canada, Mark Carney, put in place for the recognition. So we're in a weird spot where it's not fully recognized by Canada.
Yeah.
It could be if they do this, which means, Mayor, you have an out.
Yeah, never going to happen. I want to highlight something. These reforms include holding general elections in 2026, in which Hamas can play no part. That didn't work out with the Taliban and
Sure, but the
Afghanistan.
whole
Not
point
gonna
at
happen.
this stage right now is the mayor says
Not gonna
technically Canada's recognized it. Well, technically, not quite yet. So you have an out,
Yeah.
mayor. You do not have to fly this flag. You can go ahead and put your policy in place that no other flags are going to be going up anymore, because technically, legally, on a recognition level, it's not fully recognized.
Yeah. And as a side note, everyone who's living in larger cities across Canada, go ahead and check out your city hall come Monday, because apparently that is when a lot are going to be raising a Palestinian flag in recognition of their independence.
Yep. So let's go ahead and bring the best, Mr. Donald Best, on. He is muted, but I'll give him the heads up that he's muted right now. We'll see what happens when he gets on here.
Hey, Donald.
That's how you know it's me. Hi, Paula. Hi, Jason.
Exactly.
Great to see you. What a day.
No, great to see you
Yeah.
too. Thank you for reaching out and doing what you do. And by the way, really great to see you. It's
Yeah.
been a little while since we got to spend some time with you. And I'm
It
glad
is
that,
great to see you.
you
And I
joined.
think I still have a suitcase that belongs to you. So we're going to have to
Yeah.
arrange that sometime.
Yeah, there's some things that you want to send over and all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
We'll sort that out.
Yeah, we'll sort that out. We have a generator now, so we could leave the property for an
Road
extended
trip.
period of times now. So maybe we'll see where we go with this.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Ooh, she said yeah already. By the way, Donald, she flipped me off yesterday, live on the show.
Hey,
Really?
I
good
have
for
been
you,
behaving
Paula.
myself all day. I was apologetic, and you're the one who brings it up.
Yep. Well, I'm talking to he's like our father. He's the guy that we turn to for a lot of things. Yeah,
Yeah.
she flipped me off, Donald. What should I do?
Well, there you go. So, you know,
Easy.
while you're talking about the ostriches there, I have a quote that Dr. Denny Rancourt does in the new documentary Silencing Detective Bruce. And I thought you're talking about the ostriches, about why are they doing this? Why don't they pick up? Don't they know that there's cameras everywhere, videos everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do. And here's Denise' quote. It's about dominance hierarchy. And the way that these dominance hierarchies are maintained is that the dominant individuals keep the subordinates in their place by constant aggression. And that's exactly what this was. It let us know, ordinary Canadians, who's boss, and that they can do whatever they want. Never mind the rule of law, never mind anything. They went in there, they accused the people of running the ostrich farm of great violation of hygiene and all the rules, and look what they did. And they did
They
that
flipped us off.
just to show dominance, that they are in charge. That's, I think, what Denny Rancourt would say. So there you go. How's that for how's that for
And this is a fantastic demonstration of the rule of law.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in Canada.
That's
and we're
right.
going to get into that with you for sure. But this is yet one more example to all Canadians that are watching the world. In fact, if you're watching, Canada does not have rule of law. If they cleaned up after themselves like they expected everybody else to do, then maybe they can argue they were serious about this. But no, the narrative shifted. Donald, you've seen this. They're now blaming the farm for their own destruction of the ostriches. And mainstream media is going to, go ahead and continue those kind of dominance hierarchy, supporting it. It's really like a really bad parent to child relationship, not even a good parent, a bad parent to child relationship here.
Abusive parent. And
yeah, good
what they're going to do, they'll probably, they've already destroyed them financially, but just to make sure everybody knows, they'll try and take the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I do expect this. Okay, so there's already rumors out there about $500,000 being assessed, and they got to pay it or lose their farm. I did contact Katie. She hasn't seen that document if it exists yet, but I actually expect it to be far higher than 500,000. Like, this is why I don't know if that's true or not, because I expect to be like 5 million. I expect them to really come harsh at them. So we'll find out in the coming days exactly what's going on. At minimum, they have to pay the legal. The Supreme Court said that. At maximum, they have to pay every single dime that was spent on this case over the last year, including the cull itself. So they're going to have to pay for the destruction of their own birds.
But isn't this the normal in Canada now? If you stand up, Doesn't matter whether you use the law, the courts, or protest, or legally protest, whatever you want to do. If you go against the powers that be, the government, they will destroy you. They have weaponized the law. They've weaponized the courts. They've weaponized the tax system. They're going to come after you. And this is where we are today in our country. Rule of law is long dead. Rule of law, of course, meaning everyone gets treated the same way. Everyone has to obey the law. The police don't pick and choose, let this group or individual go because they're politically favored. But no, that hasn't been this way for a long time. So here we are.
Yeah, and even had a guest on the other day who kind of gave me a new saying. We all know nobody's above the law, but also nobody's below the law. It actually works both ways here. And yeah, we definitely need to have rule of law where we're all equal on that one. And a lot of people are agreeing, they're going to go after the farm. From the same people that are trying to take away Chris Barber's truck. That's how petty they are.
Mhm.
They definitely want to make an example out of this farm. And I would be very surprised if they didn't. But the only way for that to really happen is, they can raise money to cover these legal fees and all this kind of stuff. And this is one of the things that you're working on with the Gruce Project, Justice Project, Gruce Justice Project, is you're trying to raise funds to try and get this story out. And as part of that, you guys have, you've done a great job on this trailer, at least. I assume there's a lot more behind it, but the trailer has been provided now. And we released it earlier this morning, so well past midnight. And what I'd like to do, Donald, is if you can introduce what's going on here, we'll go ahead and play the 5-minute trailer for everybody to check out.
Yep.
Well, of course, Ottawa Police Detective Helen Gruce, she discovered really disturbing evidence back in 2022 about a cluster of unexplained infant deaths. And instead of allowing her to investigate the truth, her police service and the government turned their full weight against her. And so we've been following that case for about 4 years now. It's probably the most important case in police discipline, in police history, in Canada's history. It is really that important because at the end of it, it's not just about Detective Gruce. It's about whether police in Canada are free to obey the rule of law and their oath of office and their duty to launch investigations without political interference and without having to get permission beforehand. Because this is an egregious case where we have the tribunal, the Ottawa Police Tribunal, convicted Detective Helen Gruce of discreditable conduct because she didn't first ask for permission to launch an investigation where there were political and societal ramifications, quote, and it was against, quote, public officials. And that's what the tribunal found her guilty of, that she failed to get political permission to investigate crimes, potential crimes involving dead infants. And if you think that doesn't happen in this country, and it hasn't happened in this country, well, you're in for a shock. Now, this is the trailer. The whole documentary called Silencing Detective Gruce is still being filmed in Canada, in the United States, and we think even in the United Kingdom. Detective Gruce will be sentenced January, February, March. They've put it off. The hearing will continue for her sentencing. So this documentary won't be finished filming for another few months until at least the end of the sentencing, and then the editing and such. I know there are people snooping around from at least 2 film festivals. They've seen the trailer, they've seen some other things. It really has excellent production qualities, and the story is incredible. So this is the trailer. It's just released. And, we had, Jason, we had a little meltdown last night, a little server meltdown. And I hate to say it, the press release was supposed to have gone out earlier today. It didn't. So welcome, Canada. We're premiering this trailer with Jason and Paula Levine. How about running it now?
Very honored.
In the Waterloo area, 86 stillbirths have occurred from January to July, and normally it's roughly one stillbirth every 2 months. But here's the kicker. Mothers of stillbirth babies were fully vaccinated, and you have clearly said on numerous occasions that the vaccines are safe. So, Minister, what do you say to the doctors who told expecting women it was okay to get fully vaccinated, and what should they tell the mothers who deliver a stillborn baby?
We are recommending that women who are pregnant do receive the vaccine for the protection of themselves, protection of their baby as well. And that has been proven. It has been accepted by the Health Canada.
We have all heard directly how eager everyone is to get through this, get back to normal. And we know the way to do that is to get as many people vaccinated as quickly as possible. Vaccines approved for kids 5 to 11 will be fully safe and effective. If anyone who doesn't have a legitimate medical reason for not getting fully vaccinated chooses to not get vaccinated, there will be consequences.
You deserve a government that's going to continue to say, get vaccinated.
It was January 2022 when a colleague of mine in the unit came to me saying, something's up. We've had a doubling or tripling of baby deaths in the last year. Normally we have 2 or 3 a year. And that's what got my curiosity piqued.
It's terrifying to think that our own government told us a medical treatment was safe, and it killed babies.
I have lost all faith that Health Canada is looking out genuinely for the best interests of Canadians.
That baby actually had died in the parents' arms. So to me, that is suspicious. In 20 years of policing, I had never seen that happen.
The amount of effort that was put into shut down any conversation relative to the vaccination process is extremely troubling. They had wiretapped her phones. They had harassed her. They had charged her. They had convicted her. Time has shown us that that was only the tip of the iceberg.
If you believe in these vaccines and you adopt and you start to practice these rituals, you are going to also protect them. And because you have participated in them and it's part of who you are, almost like any religion.
It unravels our understanding of ourselves. And that's why it's very hard for people to look in the mirror and look at themselves and understand that they have to reimagine their world. It takes a lot of courage and strength, and I don't expect for everyone to be able to do that.
Look what the government knew. Look what the public health officials knew. I know it now. It's all in these documents. There should be an investigation. Yet months later, I'm charged, and there's still no investigation.
We're seeing the illegal lengths that the government is going to protect itself and its own interests, as opposed to minding its civic duty and doing what the public voted it in to do.
They tried to deter every other police officer from speaking up and publicly supporting her as well, because somebody within the Ottawa Police Service leaked to CBC, leaked rumors, didn't even bother to leak the truth.
What concerns me deeply for Canadians is we've come to believe that what the CBC says is true. And the reason is there's 70 years of standing on the shoulders of the giants of journalism of Canada. And they used that to trick us.
It's about dominance hierarchy. And the way that these dominance hierarchies are maintained is that the dominant individuals keep the subordinates in their place by constant aggression.
If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
Detective Helen Gruss, in this disciplinary hearing, is the hub of a wheel. Everything emanates outward from this case, involving law enforcement, corruption, the judicial system, the pharmaceutical industry, our health agencies, how they work together, how they censored information, how safe and effective never was. It all ties together to this one case, and that's what makes it so dangerous.
Wow.
Love it.
Wow. Looking forward to the rest of this, of course. So, Donald, you've been part of this project. A lot of people we recognize in there, and a couple of new ones. I haven't seen that former officer of OPS before.
There's many more people being interviewed and some very high-profile people. So, as I say, it's still in the works, but you can see that it's powerful. The story's powerful, and the storytelling is professional. And there's a few things I know that Todd of Matador Films held back. I know he's held them back because they are really, really dynamite. And we have some documents that we've obtained from whistleblowers, all sorts of things. It's going to be really something. And of course, this is part of the Gruss Justice Project, and we're a registered nonprofit corporation. But our mission is far wider than just Detective Gruss. Although we're inspired by her, our project's purpose reaches far beyond her case. We're dedicated to protecting every Canadian's right to honest policing and fair justice, and ensuring that police investigators are guided by truth and evidence, not political agendas. And by defending the police independence, we're safeguarding not only today's officers and Canadians, but the integrity of our institutions and government going forward. Because I think, Paula, Jason, we're in big trouble in this country.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
And the ostrich was yet another example of that. But I'm very, very pleased that this effort has been put in place. And Vlad, I saw your comment. I just sent you the link, so you have a copy. But Donald, I am very happy that this is happening. I'm very sad that it has to happen. But this is certainly going to open up to the entire world. For some reason, and we've seen this happen many times, like the suddenly dying one, when a well-produced, well put together, not even a shockumentary, just a documentary gets out there, things happen. Governments take action. So there may be some very good reaction to this that causes some changes here in Canada, because that's the ultimate goal here, right? To get us back onto rule of law and get things back on the right path.
That's it. And there's so many cases, and we go into it, and that you and I have covered it, and we've discussed them. So many cases recently where the political powers that be have interfered with, directed, and stopped criminal investigations in this country. And we've got to put a stop to that, because the police are turning into just an arm of government, and they've kind of forgotten their oath. Now, I understand how these things happen, but it's dangerous. As our friend Vincent Gerst said, it's very, very dangerous. So this film is going to shock some people. Many people don't know that since Detective Gruss was charged, they changed the law in Canada, in Ontario specifically. It is now illegal. You just can't believe this, but it's true, folks. It's now illegal for police officers to initiate any criminal investigation without first going for permission. And you say, well, how can that be? Well, we're going to get into that in the coming weeks and heavily in the documentary. This is where we are, where they have now made it law that police officers can no longer initiate investigations, criminal investigations, without permission. Wow.
And this trailer opens with an MPP, so member of political or provincial parliament in Ontario, talking, and you can hear they were trying to shut him down. They're calling for order and trying to shut him down. So on the provincial level, at least one person spoke up, but we didn't see anybody on the MP level speaking up. Like, did I miss that? Is that something we're going to learn later? There was at least one MP speaking up, because I assure you, the official opposition wasn't. They were calling for more vaccines.
Well, Rick Nichols, member of provincial parliament for Ontario and the Conservative Party, was kicked out of the Conservative Party. And during the next provincial election, that was it. So they took care of him, because don't forget, when he was standing up asking that question, it was of his own health minister. They took care of him.
Right.
They took care of him, just like they take care of anyone. Well, the truth will help, and that's what we're putting forward.
Yeah, that's right
Fantastic.
too. It was Conservative Doug Ford, so that would have been his own health minister too. And and she's just repeating Health Canada. Right, they kind of ended on that, and we're following Health Canada.
Trust the experts. Trust the experts, the ones who are paid by big pharma. The ones, I mean, Health Canada. We know now, with some documents that were Freedom of Information obtained, that Health Canada, even now, not 20 years ago, not 50 years ago, even now, was conducting secret medical experiments upon Indigenous children without notifying their parents and without their informed consent. And we know that because I have the documents, and I think we've talked about it. So yeah, trust the experts. Trust the ones who are injecting experimental substances into Indigenous babies. And it wasn't about COVID, it was about something else. And they did this, and they did it just a couple of years ago. And we have the secret reports. So yeah, let's all trust the experts. Health Canada.
Yeah, and even in my head, there's a list of a whole bunch of people that would be very supportive of this. So I'm looking forward to it. They're probably on your interview list as well. So the Gruce Justice Project, its first project is what you've been working on, but you'll be expanding this to be more than Detective Helen Gruce. This is going to be a justice project moving forward.
Absolutely. We have a couple of things in the works, and we've initiated now something called Post the Oath. And if you go to our website, grucejusticeproject.org, you'll see Post the Oath. And what this is about is that we want to see the police officer's oath of office posted prominently in every police facility in the public and police officer areas. We want to see that. And it's such a simple request, but it started at a barbecue on Canada Day. And there's a bunch of retired and current police officers and civilians, and we're all sitting around, and nobody could remember their oath. So I went out across Canada, and I asked over 100 officers right across Canada, "Hi, this is me. This is who I am. I'm doing a story. Can you remember your oath? Can you recite it for me?" Not one. Even the rookies who only took the oath a year or a year and a half ago couldn't recite their oath. An inspector at the barbecue couldn't recite the oath. And we thought, well, because that is the foundation of the relationship between the police and Canadians. It defines what's legal. It defines their powers. It's not just some nice thing. If they get charged under internal charges, the first piece of evidence against them is their oath. This is what you swore to. This is what you're supposed to do, and you violated that oath. Well, wouldn't it be good if a police officer who served 25 or 30 years saw that oath more than on the day they were hired? Because that's the way it is now. So that's another thing we have going. And when it really gets launched, we've targeted 2 cities right now. And I'll be back in a few weeks to let you know whether they've said no or yes, Jason.
Are you talking about the film festivals when you say targeted 2 cities? You're talking.
Sorry, I'm talking about Post the Oath.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We have approached 2 cities in Canada, 2 very small cities, and we have asked the chiefs to post the oath, and we'll see what they get back. I mean, it's such a basic, it's so foundational. How can you say no to posting the oath in the public lobby and the police guard room? How can you say no? Paula, what do you think?
Oh, I'd be very curious. Like, why wouldn't they be proud? This is what it is. So I'd be very curious to see if they do that.
Yeah, the public should. It should be on all their websites everywhere. Here's our oath to you, or here's our oath as officers, so you understand it. RCMP wouldn't want to really post. It's in the legislation. It's in the statute, so we can read it. But yeah, they don't predominantly put it out there because it's an oath to themselves, followed by a secret oath to keep secrets. So yeah. You've seen that in action for sure. You have a comment?
Yeah, I like this comment here from Nick. WEF oath.
Yeah. I don't know why it switches the screen, by the way. That's a bug in, there we go again, in StreamYard where we put a comment up and it switches our screen. So I'm not sending you a signal there, Donald. It could be CSIS.
CSIS, yeah, there was a comment there about, trust, don't worry, CSIS will save you.
Yeah, for sure they will. Yeah, they were going after Lauren Southern too, trying to recruit her.
Oh, goodness.
It's just kind of crazy out there. All right, so Donald, with the Bruce project, first I was really pleased to see Bruce herself do an interview. So it's now at the stage, and she's got to be very careful on how she does these interviews still, but she's now at the stage where she can speak up, and that's pretty good to see.
It is good to see. Now, she is going to be sentenced. She's already found guilty in a kangaroo court, where, as you know, the tribunal refused to allow any expert witnesses from the defense. No medical evidence was allowed to say that Detective Bruce was right or that she even should have been suspicious. That wasn't allowed. No expert legal and police advice, expert testimony that she had a right to do what she did, and there was so much false information put out that CBC, Detective Bruce is now suing CBC because they just out and out lied. They printed all sorts of out and out lies, and this matters. It influences everything. As a matter of fact, the CBC and personnel from Health Canada influenced the internal investigation of Detective Bruce almost right from the start. And of course, I've proven that. I have secret phone recordings with those Health Canada personnel. And we also have some documentation and such. So this whole thing stinks. It's corrupt. And that's why Canadians need to watch this trailer. And also, frankly, we could use some financial help in shooting what needs to be shot. And we could use that help because this is going to be so powerful. But a film like this has a big budget. Look at the production values. Look at where we're flying all over to interview people that matter. So, yes, we could use a little help.
And I've put the link in the chats as well for where to go to donate. What I was pleased to see was that ex-CBC producer there doing the interview. Because there's going to be a lot, I'm sure, that he can speak to what goes in behind the runnings of the CBC and the method that they put information out to the public. So I'm quite excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, and his little clip there was very telling because he's like, look, we used to be giants. We used to be good at this. They now are standing on the shoulders of giants and using that to push false narratives. And that's why people just, by default, especially the older generation, just believe them. Anything that comes out of CBC and CTV, they just believe it. But to have Rodney sitting there going, look, we used to be good. We're not good anymore, is very, very captivating. And it's going to have a very good impact on people. I even like that you have this Ottawa Police Services sergeant, a previous one, there as well. Vincent Gersey, of course. He's always great. Danny Rancourt. You got Dr. Bridle there as well. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
gonna be
this,
fantastic.
yeah, and this is going to show the best of Canada because there's some people like that who are standing up to talk. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the world, catching up on that conversation. And I really highly suspect there's going to be a lot of people in Australia, UK, that are going to also be pointing to this and say, hey, we had this too. Sergeant so-and-so in this particular police force and Dr. so-and-so in this police force or this practice got shut down for the same question. What was going on with babies?
And what's interesting about this is you haven't seen all the people that we've interviewed. And, when we fly across Canada and Matador Films and Todd there, when he flies across Canada and flies everywhere, he doesn't interview people for 10 minutes. It's hours and hours and hours of real solid evidence, testimony. And this is going to be an incredible documentary. When this breaks, and there might be some other sub-documentaries, spin-offs that come too, because of some of the things that were said, some of the sources we developed, and some of the some good people are coming forward with some, never heard before internal information, and that's all going to break in the documentary too. So this is going to be very powerful.
Excellent. And when it's time for it to be screened all over the place, we will support that here in Alberta.
Sure.
We'll make sure that Albertans get access to it. They can go see it, and also make sure they get behind this project going forward. Because I really love what you're doing with this movie, but I also really, really love what you're doing after, which is the Justice Project. You're going to keep going with that. And I think Canada needs another one of those. Let's focus on restoring rule of law here in Canada. Whether Alberta's part of that or not, we're still currently part of it, and I'd like to see things get better. If you're our neighbors or we're the same country, all the same to me. I want to see Canada get better somehow.
Yeah, please, everyone, share it out. You can go ahead to Donald Best CA on X. You can go to Jason Levine AB on X. I'm going to be sharing it out, Team Page on X. Check out the Facebook pages as well, The Levine Show.
And it's on YouTube right now, too.
Yeah, share it.
On our
even if all you do is just click on repost and share it. Just please do that, because we need to get this out. We need to get the awareness out, because when you sit there and listen to it, you're like, so.
That's 5 minutes. Wait till you see the whole thing.
Yeah. So please do share. It does make a difference.
So, Don, we're going to jump over to our locals. We'd like you to stick around for a little bit more if you can. But if you want to have a final message for Canada, this is a great opportunity.
Watch the film, watch the trailer, and think about how you want law enforcement and your police service to look after your community in the next 10 years, because we are on a path that we must change. This film is the start of that.
Yep. And to answer Vlad's question there, yes, it's already on my YouTube, Vlad. So you can go there right now. It's there already. And I will stick it on the Rumble as well. But Vlad, I sent you the link to it as well, so you can post it as well. All right, so folks, so Donald, hang on for a second, and we'll be right with you. And we'll just say goodbye to the public as we make our way to the local side of things. Remember, share this out, because it's got the trailer in it now. We want a lot of people to see it and hear it, and Donald's testimony about it, and what we can expect for next year. And also become a member of thelevineshow.com. That's how we keep that generator, which you can't hear, hopefully, running, because it's running right now. So thank you to everybody who does support us, and we're about to go say hi to our locals. But make sure you guys take care of each other.
Yeah, everyone, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you Monday morning.
We love you all very much. God bless.